helpful to look at a daf and just see all the names of the Tanoim and Amoraim, simply the names highlighted or underlined.
Here, put this on under your third.
This is like.
Need makeup?
Should have gotten the hair. Yeah, should have gotten the haircut.
Don't worry, Yossi says. Yossi likes to see.
This one, Kiva, this is good.
Yeah. Didn't lower expectation. Yossi obliterates expectation. Say that.
You know how you know if somebody's popular? Somebody's popular if he dominates a conversation even though he's not around.
There's a joke. Ding.
Okay, it's ready to start now.
Akiva, you're going to look after this camera, okay? Because I'm, Oh.
This is his best side.
You can tell me ready for your close-up.
Am I on? Should we start?
go ahead.
You tell me 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
Okay. I just want to start. Good morning, Yidden. I just want to start by saying that I'm honored that I was asked to fill in for our dear Maggid shiur, Rabbi Yossi Zalman. I hope to justify the vote of confidence which was given me by this holy chaburah. Thank you. I believe this whole get-up, actually, regarding the camera and this thing, is probably just so that Yossi Zalman can check up on us. In any case, we're about to begin the Gemara's account of a most fascinating and at the same time distressing saga of the Sanhedrin Hagadolah in the Yeshiva of Yavna. Fascinating in the sense that it gives us a window into this time and a place, and distressing because two of its greatest Tanoim were terribly hurt. I'm going to start from Tanu Rabbanon, Maisa B'Talmud Echad. So Tanu Rabbanon, the Rabbanon learned. They taught us. Maisa B'Talmud Echad. There was a story with a particular Talmud. Shebol Lefnei Rabbi Yeshua, he came in front of Rabbi Yeshua. Amar lei, Tfilas Arvis Rishus Oy Choiva. Is Tfilas Arvis the Tefillah of Marav? Is it a Rishus or is it a Choiv? Is it a voluntary Tefillah or is it an obligation? Amar lei, Rabbi Yeshua answered him, Rishus. It's voluntary. It's a voluntary Tefillah. Bolefnei Rabban Gamliel, he came in front of Rabban Gamliel, the Yossi. Omar lei, he told him, Rabban Gamliel replied, he asked him, the Talmud asked him, Tfilas Arvis Rishus Oy Choiva. Omar lei, Rabban Gamliel answered, Choiva. It's an obligation. Omar lei, the Talmud asked Rabban Gamliel further, V'haloi Rabbi Yeshua Omar li Rishus. Rabbi Yeshua had told me, Rabbi Yeshua was the Av Bezdin, and Rabbi Yeshua told me that the Tefillah is a Rishus. Omar lei, he answered him, Rabbi Gamliel answered, Hamtin achi kansu bale trisen, wait until the bale trisen, the Schottenstein translates bale trisen as the shield bearers, the Talmidei Chachomim, the Tanoim. Wait until these Talmidei Chachomim come lebeis hamedrash, into the house of study, into our bes medrash. Kid shenichnasu balei trisen, when the balei trisen entered, omad hashoil, the shoil, this student stood up, v'shol, and he asked, in front of everybody, Tfilas Arvis Rishus Oy Choiva, is the Tfilas Arvis the Tfilah of Marav? Is it a Rishus? Is it a voluntary Tfilah? Or a choiva, or is it an obligation? Omar lei Rabban Gamliel. Rabban Gamliel spoke first. It was his habit to speak before everybody else. Choiva, it's an obligation. Omar lahem Rabban Gamliel Chachomim. Rabban Gamliel told the Chachomim around him, Klum yesh adam shechoilek bidvar zeh. Is there anyone among us that disagrees with what I said? Omar lei, Rabbi Yeshua lav. Rabbi Yeshua replied, no. Omar lei, Rabban Gamliel further said, V'haloi mishimcha omru li rishus. I heard in your name that you said it was a reshus. Amar le, and so he told him, Yehoshua. You notice the word Reb Yehoshua is not said. Yehoshua Amud. Stand up, Yehoshua, al raglecho, on your feet, v'yidu b'cha, and I will discourse. I will speak. Is that a correct translation? V'yidu, I will testify. Is that
Translated as testify.
testify? Edus, I guess, is testify. Omad, Rabbi Yeshua. So Rabbi Yeshua stood al raglecho. He stood on his feet. V'omar, and he said, Ilmole ani chai, had I been alive, v'hu meis, and he would be dead. Yochel hachai lahachesh es hameis. The living one can debate, can go against the mace, the dead one. V'achshav, however, but now, sha'ani chai, I am chai, v'hu chai, and he is alive, hech yochel hachai lahachesh es hachai. How can the chai go against what lahachesh means to contradict?
So who's speaking here?
This is Rabbi Yeshua speaking. Rabbi Gamliel is saying, I'm sorry, Rabbi Yeshua is, Rabbi Gamliel said that, Haloi, I heard that in your name, you were the one that said that it's a reshus, whereas I said, Rabbi Gamliel, it's a choiv. So Rabbi Yeshua replied, no. There's nobody that that even though you heard it in my name, and because I'm alive and he's alive, I cannot contradict. I cannot deny it. I cannot.
Who's saying these?
These words is Rabbi Yeshua. There's two questions.
The word who? Who's he referring to?
The guy.
I am alive, and the question. No, the Talmud. The Talmud is the one, is the who. Yeah, I apologize. Sorry, I'm not clear. Yeah. No, I can. Rabbi Gamliel doesn't know. Rabbi Gamliel said, I heard Mishimcha, right? So, and this Talmud was not only alive. That's what I don't really follow, right? Not only is he alive, but he's actually there, right?
It's a figure of speech.
I guess it's just a figure of speech. I could have said, not only is he alive, but he's right here. He's not in, out in Medina's Hayom. In any case, these are the words of the Gemara. So, Rabbi Gamliel, Yossi v'doirish, Rabbi Gamliel, the Gemara says, was sitting and was doirish, and was discoursing. Rabbi Yeshua, the Av Bezdin, oimid al raglov, was standing on his feet. Ad shiranenu kol ha'om v'omru lechutzbis haturgemen amud. Rabbi Yeshua was standing on his feet until the entire assembly started to murmur, and they said to Chutzbis HaTorgeman, the announcer, the one who would repeat Rabbi Gamliel's words. I guess he had a beautiful voice and a loud voice. It carried far. And they told him to stop. Va'amud, and he stopped. Amri, once he stopped, they said, Ad kama nitzarti ad kama nitzare. Until when will Rabbi Gamliel cause tsar? V'nezel b'Rosh Hashanah, ishtokei tzara, b'bechayros, b'maiser d'Rav Tzadok. He is now, Rabbi Gamliel gave tsar to Rabbi Yeshua now. He gave tsar to Rabbi Yeshua in a story, in an episode in Masechtas Bechayros, with the story with Rav Tzadok, Tzara. He caused tsar to Rav Tzadok in the story of Rav Tzadok. Hochanami tzare. Even now, he's continuing to cause further tsar. To, let us v'navre. Let's take him off. Let's depose him. So the Gemara continues to recount. Man nukim le. They said, who should we put up in his place? Nuk mele Rabbi Yeshua. So they're debating. Nuk mele Rabbi Yeshua. Should we appoint Rabbi Yeshua? Should we elevate Rabbi Yeshua, who was the Av Bezdin and the most qualified? They can't do that, they say, because Baal Maisahu. He's actually, he's the one who it happened to, right? Nuk mele Rabbi Akiva, let us elevate Rabbi Akiva. So they said, no, they can't elevate Rabbi Akiva. He's not a candidate because Dilma Onishle. Maybe he is going to get punished. The less lezchus avis, because Rabbi Akiva was the son of a ger, and he doesn't have zechus avis. And Rabbi Gamliel may be upset, will probably be upset with what is about to happen. He will daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he'll be distressed, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will punish whoever is causing him this distress. And the focus of his distress is possibly going to be the one who was appointed in his stead, even though he didn't appoint himself. So this man who we appoint needs zchus avos. Ella, so the Gemara says, Nukmei le Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. And we will soon see that that for them to consider Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, to me in my little head, is really astounding, because Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, the Gemara says, was only a bocher. He was only 18. He was married, but he was only 18. But he was considered for this position. Why? Dehu chacham, because he's wise. V'hu oshir, and he's wealthy. V'hu asiri le'ezro, and he is the 10th generation from Ezra HaSofer, from the original Ezra who came to Eretz Yisrael from Bavel.
So is the three accolades, are they all equal? Are they going up in value? Not only is he wise, not only is he rich, but he also has Yossi? Or is the first one that he's wise and he also happens to be rich and he also happens to have yichus? So each criteria on its own would not have been enough.
Right. I don't know if they're going up in order, but I know that each criteria definitely would not be enough. Otherwise, it wouldn't have said all three of them. One of the reasons why I believe, first of all, I'll tell you what Schottenstein says. Schottenstein says that he needed to be wealthy. That he needed to be wealthy so that he should be able to, that he should have time. Is this the Gemara? Am I confusing myself? No, the Gemara is actually going to say this. Schottenstein says that the three things that are necessary. I apologize again. No, it's on a different comment. But the fact that you know what? When all said and done, I'll leave that as a question unless somebody else can answer it.
In other words,
I don't know if it's going up, but I know that each one is necessary. The Gemara is about to say why each one is necessary.
Each one on its own would not have been enough. Are they a third? What's that?
Rabbi Akiva wasn't good enough because of his yichus.
He had the other two.
So Elazar ben Azariah has. We know from the TheAgudah story that he's certainly got.
He had the pedigree, if you will.
He's got the pedigree. He's got the yichus. The question I would think is why is wealthy important?
Yeah,
right.
So that's not to be swayed by the.
Right.
So not to be influenced, right?
Right.
So the Gemara. I just wanted to.
Okay.
You wanted to know if there's a hierarchy.
If there's a hierarchy, that's all.
So the Gemara actually says, and the Gemara is going to say why each one is necessary. The Gemara continues, "Di'i makshe le mefarak le," because if he needs to be wise, hu chocham, he's got to be wise. Di'i makshe le mefarak le, because if someone will ask him a question, he's able to answer, not like what just happened, right? V'hu ashir, and he must be wealthy. Di'i isle lefluchi lebe kesar, af hu azuru falach. If we are going to have headaches, which they always had, with the Roman government, Caesars, the king, the emperor, right? He will be able to go and debate and plead for the Am Hashem in front of the Caesar. Now, Schottenstein says that he's able to do it, that he needs wealth in order to do it, because only wealthy people have the eloquence and the ability to do so. I find that questionable, simply because I know that Nochemish Gamzu, right, had gone to Rome. There were other people who had gone to Rome and were not wealthy and pleaded their case. I would like to suggest that the reason why somebody has to be healthy is not only because of what we said before, so that he cannot be bribed, but also so that he should have time to go to the Kesar, which means I'm using I'm taking into account what the Gemara is saying, right? As a person to take off time and go to Rome took many, many months. Someone who is not wealthy needs to go to work, right? Someone who's wealthy can look after his home and take off for several months. That's my suggestion.
They were working that were on the somewhere.
These Tanon? Yes, we're going to find out. Yes, we're going to find out that they had full-time jobs. Soon we're going to come up to the Gemara on the next daf is going to speak about Rabbi Yeshua, right? Who was a blacksmith, right?
This is where Yossi would say, drain the swamp. No more professional politicians.
That's what it calls draining the swamp.
Yeah, it's a common expression. It's become common. So, back to the reason why the qualities that Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah that a Nossi needs to have. He needs to be a Chacham, and he needs to be wealthy, and he needs to have Zechus Avis. So v'hu asiri le'Ezra, and he is the 10th. This Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah is the 10th generation from Ezra HaSofer. The Islay Zechus Avis. V'loy motzi onishle, and he won't come to be punished by Rabbi Gamliel's distress. Asu v'amrulei, and they told him, these Talmidei Chachomim from the Sanhedrin Hagadolah went, and they told Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah, Nichalei, do you appreciate that we're offering you this position? Lamar, de lahavi reish mesifta, that you should be the reish mesifta. Notice that they're calling him Mar. Mar is a lashon of master, which is generally reserved when someone in the mesifta spoke to someone who he learned from, a rebbe. Amar lahu, and he was 18. Amar lahu, he told them, Ezel ve'imlich be'in shibese. I will go and I will ask the members of my household. Ozel ve'imlich, he did not ask the members of his household, it was just his manner of speaking. Ve'imlich b'dbeisehu, and he went and he asked his wife. Amrole, she told him, Amrole, she told him, Dilma ma'avrin loch. Maybe they're going to remove you. They'll appoint you, and then they're going to get rid of you. This is actually one of the
Contract.
Yeah, right.
Golden parachute.
Done it to people before.
This is actually the second time that I'm aware of in the Gemara where a woman caused the downfall of a Tana. Here, she almost caused it. He didn't listen to her, right, as we're soon going to see. But I do remember that Rabbi Vigdor says that Rabbi Eliezer ben Aruch, who was known to be one of the greatest Talmidim of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, is mentioned in Ovis, yet, however, he's never mentioned in any of Shas, right? What happened to him? So they say that Rabbi Eliezer ben Aruch was convinced by his wife to stay by Chamei Tveria because she liked the hot springs, right? And so he didn't come down to Yavna when all of his Chaverim and all Talmidei Chacham were coming down to Yavna. So just as an aside, however, he did not listen to her. Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah did not listen to her. And he said, and he started to ask her. He said, Omar lo, lishtamish ini, in inish, yuma chada bekisi demukra. So let's look at Rashi. Rashi explains what this is. Kisa or kosa demukra, kois zechuchas yikara. It's an expensive glass cup. Shekoirin lo beloshen yishmol, which is called in Arabic arkia. The oimrim b'nei odom b'moshel hedyet, and it's a common folk saying b'moshel hedyet. Yoim echad yishtamish. This is the saying. Yoim echad yishtamish. One day I'll use it. Boy balav, the owner will use it. V'yischabed, and he will be honored through it. V'im eshbar, v'im yishbar. And if it breaks, it breaks. Meaning, just because I may not have this tomorrow, the covet is so desirable, not the covet, but the position is so desirable for me to accept to become the Rosh Mesifta that as long as it lasts, it lasts.
Similar to becoming a Maggid Shiur, as long as it lasts.
Maggid Shiur for a day.
Right.
President for a day.
President
Right.
For a day.
Right. And if Chalila I flop, I flop.
Yes, you shall.
Amrole. So she told him, wait a second. Les loch chiurto. She told him something that was very interesting. She said, after she said not to do it, she said, she must have been a very wise woman. She said, Les loch chiurto. You don't have any white here. You don't have a hadras ponim as an elder. So you can't take the position of an elder. So hahu yuma, that day, bar timnit srei shnei. He was only 8. He was all of 18 years old. Israchish le nisa. A miracle happened. The ahadru le tam nisrei derei chiyorto. And 18 hairs of his beard turned white. Now I'd like to suggest that 18 rows of hair. Okay. So I'd like to suggest.
What he didn't know was, in the middle of the night, his wife gave him
It's one of the reverse.
Let me tell you from experience, it's stress.
But it's reverse to make it white.
make it white.
Usually women
And
would
he
buy
also
dye
the
it.
Grecian
formula,
for
right?
So I'd like to suggest not like like David said, because if all she needed and all he needed was white hair, then they could have dyed it. There was no reason why a nace had to happen. So I believe that the reason why a nace had to happen, because here is one of the cases where it was bedafka by a nace, so that Shamayim, heaven, should show them, right, that this is what should be done. Because it looks like they might not have, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah would not have taken the position if not for this miracle.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you know the story Rabbi Elazar has with the Chachamim about let a baskol come out and prove that I'm right, and the Chachamim tell him Torah loy b'shamayim, we don't accept Torah from heaven. I don't know if it's the same Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah.
No, it's not. That's Rabbi Eliezer Agodl.
Okay.
That's Rabbi Eliezer Agodl.
So that's not a reference to Elazar ben
But
Azariah.
even though it's a different Rabbi Eliezer, your question is still valid, because you have one Gemara where it says that we don't take signs from heaven. Yet here we have a sign from heaven. I don't know. Maybe because it's not a Dvar Halacha. With over there, Torah, that case of Rabbi Eliezer, or of Rabbi Elazar, was a Dvar Halacha.
You want to say that he used the whitening of his beard as a raya that he should do it. The Gemara doesn't say that.
No, that's why I said I suggested it.
That,
It says Nisa.
yeah,
It's
but,
a
but,
Nisa,
but, but the
but-
issue was that there was a concern that he wouldn't be Mechabed because he didn't have a white beard. So the miracle was to say, I save him the busha, his beard turned white.
No, that, like I said, they didn't need a nace. They could have just whitened the hair.
Right.
And they, remember, he didn't get wrinkles, he didn't become stooped, and everybody knew that he was only 18 years old. So I think that the only reason why this nace happened was because they wanted a nace to happen. Right. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Okay. So the Gemara continues. Kiva, where am I?
You're up to Tana.
Tana?
The last word on the line. Right, too low. Right, Tana. Tana. Oisha Yom Silku.
Hare, oh, here we go. Hainu de Ka'omar, and this is what is meant when Rabbi Elazar said this cryptic comment elsewhere. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah said, Hare ani keben shivim shana. I am like Kiben, like 70 years old. But I'm not exactly 70 years old, but I'm like 70 years old. V'loi ben shivim shana, and I'm not 70 years old. The Kiben is because he looked like 70 years old in that he had white hair. Again, I asked this. I suggested that that when we learned this earlier on earlier dafim with Yossi Zalman, that I don't really know what relevance that has to do with anything that he said. Right? He said Harei ani keben shivim shana according to the TheAgudah v'lo zechisi shetir omer, right? Yitzis Mitzrayim balayla. So big deal. So he's.
It's a Mishnah, by the way. quote the Agudah.
Okay.
The Agudah is quoting the Mishnah.
Okay, but it's become common knowledge through the Haggadah, right? So we all know this. So I don't really know what the relevance is. Just the fact that I had white hair. All the Chachamim knew that I'm only 18 years old. So I quoted the Tiferes Yisrael, who says that Kibem Shivim Shana at that time. In the Mishnah, the Tiferes Yisrael says that Kivem Shivim Shana meant that he's almost 70 years old. He was like 69, 68, and he still wasn't able to. However, that is not like this Gemara. It's totally... Oh, so let's see what the Heilige Rashi says.
Rashi back on Yud Beis.
Rashi, back on Yud Beis.
Yeah, it says so our scroll brings it.
Okay.
The day that Ben Zoma made that comment that about when Kriya Shema, she said,
Right.
was made the day that Rav Elazar ben Azariah was installed as the Nasi. So when he says Kabin Shivin Shana, it's talking about on this day that I became the Nasi, that I was like a 70-year-old man, that my beard went gray.
Okay.
That's what our
This was his State of the Union or the opening address, then, right? You're saying this is the day Reb Elazar ben Azariah was
This is
installed?
the day that Rav Elazar ben Azariah was installed.
right.
Ben Zoma
Made
made
this
this
Rashi,
comment.
right.
So when he says I was like a 70-year-old man,
Right. Oh, I
he's
see.
talking about the day that his beard grew.
Tono, we learned. Oisoi hayoim, that particular day, salkuhu l'shoimer haPesach, they got rid of the guards which were standing at the doors. In the days of Yavne, they actually had guards at the door of the Beis Medrash, and they were selective. Not everybody was able to come into the Beis Medrash and just learn. V'nosna lohem reshus letalmidim. They got rid of the guards and they gave reshus, they gave permission to all of the talmidim likones to enter the Beis Medrash. Why was this? Why is this significant? Because Shahaya Rabban Gamliel Machriz, Rabban Gamliel, the Nasi, announced, V'oimer, call Talmud, any Talmud, she'ein toichoy kibaroi, that his inside is not like his outside, lo yikones, shall not enter the Beis Medrash to the Beis Medrash. Whereas now, when Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah became Nasi, the guards were taken down and everybody was able to enter the Beis Medrash. I remember a famous story, I think the Olam would appreciate, where the Satmar Rebbe was invited to Torah V'das, and he gave a shiur in Torah V'das, and at the end of his shiur, he said that our Gemara, which says, you know, toichoy kibaroi, your insides must be like your outsides. In this Beis Medrash, in this yeshiva, I have the opposite problem. I'm looking in front of hundreds of talmidim, right? And their outside is not like their inside, because they all have long hair and they look like modern boys. They're not like their inside, which is beautiful and pristine. So that's what the Rebbe said. So one of the Bochrim went over to the Rebbe after the shiur. This Bocher had a bit of guts, and I guess he probably didn't know who the Rebbe was yet. And the Rebbe recently came from Europe and was invited immediately by Reb Shraga Feivel, the principal. And the Rebbe said, and he said to the Rebbe, I don't understand. Would the Rebbe appreciate if one of us, right, would go to a Chassidish yeshiva and he would complain that the Bochrim daven late and they don't daven on the Zmanei Tefillah? Would the Rebbe appreciate that comment? So the Rebbe did not look at the Bocher. He turned to his Gabbai, or he turned to the people who invited him, and he said, I don't understand what's being asked of me. These Bochrim, the Bochrim, if the Hasidic Bochrim would be asked this question, they could always say, listen, we don't know. We go according to the Rebbes of Belz, the Rebbes of Ger. This is what we do, right? We're following in the footsteps and the examples of our Rebbes. But the Bochrim over here, the hairstyles are only to copy the street, to copy Hollywood. So I don't really chop what this Bocher is asking me. That was the story that I thought I might share with you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So, when Rav Elazar ben Azariah is asked to take this role, he's asked to take the role of the Rosh Mesivta.
Right.
Isn't Rabbi Yeshua the Rosh Mesivta and Rabbi Gamliel the Nasi?
Rabbi
Who got deposed? Did Rabbi Gamliel get deposed?
Rabbi Gamliel got deposed.
So then why wasn't he offered the role of Nasi?
He wasn't, because he wasn't. The Rabbi Yeshua wasn't Rosh Mesifta. Rabbi Gamliel was Nasi, which was the Rosh Mesifta. Oisoi Dovar. It was the same thing. Rabbi Yeshua was Av Bezdin.
Okay.
So, Hahu Yuma, that particular day, Atoisfu Kamos Safsole, they brought in many benches. Rabbi Yochanan testified that I know Pligi Bo Abba Yosef ben Dostoy v'Rabbonon. There was an argument that was relevant to us between Abba Yosef ben Dostoy and the Chachomim. Chad Omer Atoisvay Arba Mea Safsole. One said they brought in 400 benches. The Chad Omar, and one said Sheva Mea Safsole. They brought in 700 benches. Havakochoshlo daite de Rabbi Gamliel. Rabbi Gamliel saw all of this, and he saw all of these benches and all of these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Talmidim, right? And Omar, he said to himself, Dilmo chas v'sholem menani Torah mi Yisrael. It's possible, I see now, that I withheld Torah from Yisrael. Now, I don't know what chas v'sholem means. Some people say it's a loshon of rachmones, chas v'sholem, and to have sholem. The Art Scroll teaches it as God forbid. Achzulei bechalmei, they showed Rabbi Gamliel in a dream, chetz ve'chiyuri demalin kitmo, white pitchers that were filled with ash, as a sign that the pitchers may have been white, the outside, right, the baroi is white and pristine, but the inside is filled with worthless ash. They showed him that what he suspected was actually the case. However, the Gemara says, Velohi, this particular dream was not accurate. It was not like that. The Talmidim were genuinely worthy. If not all of the Talmidim, I would suggest at least many of them. Hahi, this dream, liyusvei daite, was only shown Rabbi Gamliel in order to huda achzule, in order to appease him, to settle him, to make him less distressed. Tana, idias boy biyoim, that particular day they learned idias, nishnis, they learned. V'chol hecha, the amrinon boy biyoim, and everywhere in Shas, when it's mentioned boy biyoim, that particular day, hahu yuma havo. It was that particular day when Rabbi Eliezer ascended to the Nesias. V'loy hoisa halacha, and there wasn't a halacha shahoisa teluya beis medrash. There wasn't a halacha that was not poishet, that was left without a resolution, shaloi pirshuha, that they did not resolve that particular day. And not only that, but v'af Rabbi Gamliel loy mona atzmi bebeis medrash afilu shor echos. He did not withhold himself. He did not distance himself from the Beis Medrash for even one moment. D'tnan, because we learned, boy biyoim, on that day, bo Yehuda ger amoini lifnehem, there was a fellow by the name of Yehuda, who was a ger, descended from the Amoini, the nation of Ammon, and we know that the nation of Ammon is not allowed to. I'm sorry? Is not allowed to enter the Am Yisrael. Enter meaning he's not allowed to marry into them. Omar lohem, he asked the Talmidei Chachomim, right, the Sanhedrin, Mo'ani lovi b'kahal, I'd like to get married. What is the halacha? Can I marry a Bas Yisrael? Omar le Rabbi Gamliel said, Osir, it's forbidden. Ato lovi b'kahal Hashem. Omar le Rabbi Yeshua, so Rabbi Yeshua said, Mutter, no, it's permitted. Ato lovi b'kahal Hashem. Omar le Rabbi Gamliel told Rabbi Yeshua, v'haloi kvar nemar. Does it not say in the pasuk, Lo yovei amoini umayavi b'kahal Hashem, like David just quoted? Omar le Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua said, hold on a second. V'chi amoin umoya b'mekoymon hen yoishvin. Do you think that as of today, the nation of Ammon is still in their original place where they always lived? Kvar ola Sancheriv melech Ashur, Sancheriv, the king of Assyria, stood up, and ubilbil es kol ha'umois. He dispersed all of the original umois all of the umois from their original places. Shenemar, because it says in Yeshaya as well, v'asir v'asir gevulois amim v'asidoi sehem shoiste v'oirid ka'abir yoshvim. Can you translate that for me? I apologize.
I've removed the boundaries of people and have plundered their treasures. I've brought down dwellers in strongholds.
Okay. So this is a pasuk in support of Rabbi Yeshua's position that the Ammonim of his day were not the original Ammonim of the halacha, that they're not allowed to come in.
I'm sorry, he was already a ger. See, they called him a ger Ammoini. So you accepted into the fold, but we tell you can't get married.
Right. That because the pasuk doesn't mean that they can't they can become gerim. Yeah, it's a very good point. I didn't chop that.
What's that? They marry other gerim. You have to marry what other gerim? They can't marry a legitimate ger.
Why not?
Why not? No, but why can't they marry a regular ger? Tell me somebody who's a ger from Syria is a kahal Hashem like everybody else.
I don't think that's right.
Is not the Kal Hashem? So therefore he's allowed to marry other gerim? Other avodim he could. He could marry a mamzer. A mamzeres. Gotta be careful, gotta be specific, right? Okay.
The whole
Nothing wrong with that. There's anything wrong with that.
the whole the porish mirube porish, even though some of them may be left within their original areas, this fellow is probably from the roiv of the people that are not from this original place. So we don't have to go lechumra. We can consider him part of the roiv that do not belong to that nation. Omar loy Rabbi Gamliel. So Rabbi Gamliel says, "V'haloi kvar nemar v'achrechein oshiv es shvus b'nei Amoin." Right? Ne'um Hashem. The words of Hashem that are said that I'm going to return the b'nei Amoin to their places. Ukvar shavu, and they've returned. Omar le Rabbi Yeshua. So Rabbi Yeshua said, "V'haloi kvar nemar v'shavti es shvus ami Yisrael." The pasuk also says that the b'nei Yisrael are also going to return to their place. V'adayin loy shavu. Right? And just like the Bnei Yisrael have not come back, the Bnei Ammon probably have not come back yet. So meaning these two prophecies, right, were not fulfilled as of yet. Miyad hatiruhu. Immediately they allowed him to marry Abbas Yisrael. They allowed him to go date. Amar Rabbi Gamliel, Hoyel v'hochi hava. Since I see that this is the case, meaning that I've been deposed, Ezel va'afaise, I will go and I will try to make shalom between myself and Rabbi Yeshua. Ki motel beise, when he came to his home, chazinhu leishte de beise de meshachrin. He saw that the walls of Rabbi Yeshua's home were black. Omar lei, Rabbi Gamliel said to Rabbi Yeshua, Mikois lebeisecho atoniker shepichame ato. From the walls of your house, which were black, it's apparent that you're a blacksmith. Omar lei, he told him, and this is the sentence that I found most distressing from this entire saga. Omar lei, oy loy ledor sha'ata parnosoi. Woe is to our door, to the door that you, Rabbi Gamliel, are the nosi. She'i ata yoidea b'tza'aran shel talmidei chachomim. Because you do not know the tsar that Talmidei Chachomim have, b'mahem misparnasim, in how they support themselves, v'kamahem nizuinim, and how they feed themselves. Omar lei, so he told him, Nanisi locho. Rabbi Gamliel told Rabbi Yeshua, I've offended you. Mochoili, please forgive me. Loi eshkach, he did not consider his words.
So what was his insult exactly? Did he call him, oh, you're a blacksmith and it's low? Or that the fact that
He didn't insult him. He didn't insult him.
He said, because they said, oh, I didn't know you were a blacksmith.
No.
So the fact that he didn't know that he was a blacksmith.
I don't know.
What did he? Came into his house to ask him Mcgillvray.
Right,
was going out
right,
of his way.
right.
Very low, blacksmith is one of the lowest professions. Why is
In
that?
Now you didn't know what I was doing. That I understand.
No, I disagree with everybody here. He was not asking for forgiveness for insulting him in his house.
No,
right?
he's asking forgiveness for what happened
Right.
before. So
However, a blacksmith can be wealthy, just like anybody can be wealthy in any business. The problem is that he was a blacksmith in his home. His home was his shop. A blacksmith is smoky. If you're going to be a blacksmith in your home, that means that you don't have any money. That was the problem.
yeah, but so why is he blaming her? So what was the
No,
insult?
he's blaming Rabbi Gamliel that you don't realize how poor I am. You didn't know. I'm bezed. I'm with you every day in the Besmedrash, and you don't know, right? You never asked me how I'm doing, if I need any money for this or for that or whatever, or if I can have some money to invest and have a shop so that I don't have to have a smoky home. Okay. So he said, "Also b'shvil kvoid Abba, please forgive me and do this for the sake of my dad, for my father." Fayis. So Rabbi Yeshua was reconciled. He was Fayis. He was tzefrid. And how did they teach Fayis? He was appeased, which is very interesting. All of a sudden, because he remembered, he was now appeased. It's not that he was moichel, he was truly appeased. Amru. So now Rabbi Yeshua said, the Chachomim said, now that they heard about this, Man Nezel, it wasn't the Chachomim of the Besmedrash, it was the people around them. Man Nezel v'leima luhu Rabbanon, who should go and tell the Chachomim in the Besmedrash that Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Gamliel are Bisholem. Omer luhu hahu koivis, some fellow got up, a koivis, a laundry mat fellow. Ono, I will go, azilno. Sholach luhu Rabbi Yeshua, and Rabbi Yeshua sent him, lebei midrasha, to the Besmedrash, and he said, Man delovish mado yilbish mado. The fellow who wears the particular cloak that the Yossi wears should wear it. Uman deloy lovish mado, and the fellow who is not accustomed to wear it, yomer le leman delovish mado, he should be telling off the fellow who generally wears it. Sholach madcho va'ano albishe. How is that translated, Avigdor?
Remove your robe and I will don it.
And I will don it. Omer luhu Rabbi Akiva l'Rabbanon. So Rabbi Akiva told the Rabbanon, Teroiku gale. Go and lock the doors of the Besmedrash. Deloy leisu avdei de Rabban Gamliel. They were afraid that even though they knew that Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Yeshua were appeased with one another, they were still afraid that Rabban Gamliel's avodim are going to start pressuring them to immediately reinstate Rabban Gamliel. They're going to come and distress the Rabbanon. So let's lock the doors. Rabbi Yeshua, it seems, mutav de ekim, I must go myself, the ezel ano legavayu, and I'm going to go to them also. Also teref aboba, and I will go to them. Omer lei, and so he told him his own way of speaking. Mazeh ben mazeh, yazeh, v'she'enoi loy mazeh v'loy ben mazeh, yomer lemazeh ben mazeh. A fellow who generally can sprinkle water on others should tell someone who is not a sprinkler and is not a son of a sprinkler. He should be speaking to the fellow who sprinkles. And meimecho, and your waters, mimoro, are the waters of a cave. ve'efrecha efer, ve'efrecha efer mekala, and the ashes that you have are worthless ashes. Omer le Rabbi Akiva, Omer le Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Yeshua nisfayis, klum asinhu ela b'shvil kvoidcha. We have only done what we did for your covet. Now that you're appeased, lemocher, you and I, ani va'ata, which is not the way the English language is. They put themselves before the other person. Lemocher, Rabbi Akiva says, ani, myself, va'ata, and you, nishkim lepischu, we will go to the Pesach, to the door of Rabbi Gamliel, and we'll speak to him. Amri, hechi navid na'avre. I forgot to type these words.
What should we do? The average, should we remove him?
Oh. So the Chachomim in the Besmedrash said, Hechi Navid, how should we proceed? Na'avre? Should we remove Rabbi Gamliel? Should we remove Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah? Gemiri, we can't do that because Gemiri, we have a tradition. Gemiri is always a loshen that I've heard from our teachers. Malin b'kodesh, we elevate from kodesh ve'loy maridin, and we do not descend from kedusha.
Yeah, could have made that argument about Rabbi Gamliel.
Wow. I don't know. Any answers? Why did this? Huh? And this is also for a reason. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mar chodesh shabsa umar chodesh shabsa. Should one master be doirish 1 week, umar chodesh shabsa, and another master will be doirish the other week, meaning they're going to share it equally?
No, he's there. He's on it. No, he's right on it. Okay.
Osi liknuye. If we do that, if they share it equally, osi liknuye, it will come to kino. It'll come to jealousy.
Bibi didn't like that arrangement either.
Who?
Very good.
Who didn't like?
Bibi Netanyahu also. You
Oh,
one week you, one
Bibi.
week me, 1 week you, right? To switch.
Got it from the Gemara.
Right.
Elo lidrosh Rabbi Gamliel. Should Rabbi Gamliel be the darshan? Elo lidrosh Rabbi Gamliel klosa shabsi. Rabbi Gamliel should be doirish 3 Shabbosim out of the month, and the Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah chodosh shabso, and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah will be doirish 1 week out of the month. V'hainu de Omar Mar, and this is what we have said. Mar said, Shabbos shelmi hoisa. Which Shabbos was it? Which Shabbos was it? Was it the Shabbos of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, or was it the Shabbos of Rabbi Gamliel? This is what is meant by that statement. V'oisoi Talmud, and that particular Talmud who caused this whole saga to begin was Reb Shimon ben Yochai Hava. I believe the Schottenstein explains that the Gemara only says Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. He only reveals the name of this Talmud at the end because he didn't want us to know that he was the cause of all this discord. I'd like to suggest that the reason why Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai was not mentioned and is mentioned over here is because throughout this whole time that we're learning this, not only us, but thousands of other shiurim and for thousands of years would always have been upset at this Talmud, right? I mean, we would have been upset at this Reb Shimon, right? Right, but at the end we find that the result that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah and Rabbi Gamliel, they made shalom, we wouldn't be so angry.
Hundreds of years later.
That what?
This Karaisa Talmud, right? This is the Gemara. These were Tanoim, right? So these are Amiras who wrote this, right? Hundreds of years later.
So?
Yeah, but at the time, they would have known who it was.
Yeah.
Would they not have known? I mean, the papers would have covered it, right? So who's stirring? Whatever you want to call it, TMZ. What's going on? They would have known it was Reb Shimon.
Let's go further. Vishel Musafim.
What's interesting is it doesn't.
The way the Gemara is telling you,
don't shop around. Don't shop your shilos around.
Meaning that's not the
The beginning of the whole story, you would think that what do you learn from this story? Don't shop your shilos. You ask one shiloh and you ask.
and the Gemara doesn't come to that conclusion. You all have great stuff. I didn't think of that as well either. V'shel musafim kol hayoim. The Mishnah said that we can daven the musaf tefillah the entire day. Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Even though we can daven musaf all day, v'nikra posheya. Someone who does this will be considered and called a posheya. He's negligent. Toner Rabbanon. Hayu lefonov shtei tfilos achas shel mincha va'achas shel musaf. Again, we explained from Yosef Zalman that this was because he forgot, and now at the end of the day he now has to daven both tfilos, musaf and mincha. Va'achas shel musaf and musaf. Mispalel shel mincha. He should be mispalel mincha first. Va'achar kach mispalel shel musaf. Shezu tadira, because we have a rule that tadir she'enoi tadir koidim, and this is tadir. Mincha is tadir, and musaf is not as tadir as mincha. V'zu enoi tadira. Rabbi Yehuda, however, says mispal shel musaf. You should be mispal musaf first, va'achar kach mispal shel mincha, and afterwards you should be mispal mincha. Because shezu mitzvah averis, v'zu mitzvah she'eno averis. Rabbi Yehuda goes according to his shita that musaf can only be said up until the 7th hour of the day, and it's almost going to be lost. That opportunity of tefillah is going to be lost. So you daven musaf first.
What if he's not plenty of time?
Anybody? What happens if he has before? Remember, Yossi said that it's only about a half an hour that both of them, right? There's a very little bit of time, and remember, a half an hour is a little bit of time because they davened with kavona. They didn't just daven up. Rabbi Yochanan. So Rabbi Yochanan says, halacha mispal shel mincha va'achar kach mispal shel musaf. The halacha is that one davens mincha first, va'achar kach mispal musaf. Reb Zera. When Reb Zera was tired from his learning, Hava Ozil, he would get up. The Yosef apischa debe Reb Nosson bar Tuvi. He would go to the house and stand in the doorway of Reb Nosson bar Tuvi. Reb Nosson bar Tuvi, by the way, had a besmedrash. Omar, he would say, Ki chalfi rabbonon, when the chachomim come out, oz eika mikamayu, I will then be able to stand up, even though I cannot learn, at least I can be mechabed talmidei chachomim, ve'akabel agro, and I will then be able to get reward for it. Nofek also, I will then be able to accept reward. Nofek also, Rab Nosson bar Tuvi. Rab Nosson bar Tuvi came out himself. Omar lei man. Omar halacha bei midrasha. Who said the halacha in the besmedrash? Rashi explains that he was asking about a particular halacha. Rabbi Yehuda, the halacha of Rabbi Yehuda. Omar lei hachi Omar Rabbi Yochanan. This is what Rabbi Yochanan said, that ein halacha ka Rabbi Yehuda, that the halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda. The Omar who says mispal odem shel musaf va'achar kach mispal shel mincha. Omar lei Rabbi Yochanan Omra. So Reb Zera said to Reb Nosson bar Tuvi, Rabbi Yochanan truly said that? Amar lei in. He said yes, he did say that. Tana minei arbo'in zimnin. He learned from him this halacha 40 times. Omar lei, chada hi loch, oy chadas hi loch. Is this the only thing that you heard in the name of Rabbi Yochanan? Or is this something new that you've never heard before? Omar lei, chadas hi. This is a new thing that I heard because mishum de misafkali be Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Because I wasn't sure whether I heard it in the name of Rabbi Yochanan or in the name of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, and now you're telling me that